Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. In Pennsylvania, a grand jury report released Tuesday has revealed more than 300 Catholic priests sexually abused 1,000 children and possibly thousands more over 7 decades, and that the church leadership covered up the abuse. The report details how priests raped young girls and boys, including one priest who raped a young girl in the hospital after she had her tonsils out. Another priest impregnated a young girl, then arranged for her to have an abortion. The report also chronicles how the church used an array of tactics to conceal the abuse, including lying to the community about why a priest was removed from the parish, transferring pedophile priests rather than firing them, locking abuse complaints away in a secret archive. One priest who'd been repeatedly accused of child abuse asked for and received a letter of recommendation to work at Disneyland. This is the Pennsylvania Attorney General, Josh Shapiro.
The term secret archives is not my term. It is how the church officials themselves referred to the troves of documents sitting in filing cabinets just feet from the bishops' desks. In each diocese, the bishops had the key to the secret archives, which contained both allegations and admissions of the abuse and the cover-up.
The Vatican declined to comment on Tuesday. Primaries were held in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Connecticut, and Vermont on Tuesday, where Christine Hallquist made history by becoming the first openly transgender major party gubernatorial nominee in U.S. history. She easily won the Democratic primary, will now face Republican Vermont Governor Phil Scott in November. If she wins, she'll become the nation's first transgender governor. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders also easily won his Democratic Senate primary, though he's expected to run in November as an independent. In Minnesota, State Representative Ilhan Omar is now poised to become the first Somali-American woman elected to Congress and one of the first Muslim women elected to Congress after she won her Democratic primary on Tuesday. Her victory comes a week after another female Muslim candidate, Rashida Tlaib, won her congressional primary in Detroit. Also in Minnesota, outgoing Democratic Congressmember Keith Ellison won a sweeping victory in the Democratic primary for Attorney General. His victory comes only days after he was accused of physically and emotionally abusing his ex-girlfriend. He denies the charges. In Connecticut, former National Teacher of the Year Johanna Hayes handily won her Democratic primary and is poised to be Connecticut's first black woman in Congress. And in Kansas, which held its primary last week, Governor Jeff Collier has conceded to Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kobach in the too-close-to-call Republican primary for governor. Kobach is a key architect of the GOP's voter suppression efforts nationwide. He's fiercely anti-immigrant and led Trump's widely discredited Presidential Advisory Commission on Election Integrity. President Trump has publicly attacked former White House aide Omarosa Manigault-Newman. In a racist and sexist tweet, Trump wrote, "When you give a crazed, crying lowlife a break and give her a job at the White House, I guess it just didn't work out. Good work by General Kelly for quickly firing that dog." Up until her firing, Omarosa was the only African-American to serve in a senior role at the White House. In her new book, she describes the president as racist and claims he's used the N-word repeatedly. President Trump has denied using the N-word, but CBS News has published an audio recording that appears to show White House aides discussing the potential fallout from the release of audio of Trump using the racial slur. This is a clip of the audio in which Trump spokesperson Katrina Pearson is speaking. Listen carefully.
I'm trying to find out at least what context it was used in to help us maybe try to figure out a way to spin it. Yeah, no, he said it. He's embarrassed.
Omarosa released that tape. On Tuesday, White House spokesperson Sarah Huckabee Sanders said she could not guarantee there isn't an audio recording of Trump using the N-word. This is Sanders being questioned by NBC News' Kristen Welker.
Can you stand at the podium and guarantee the American people they'll never hear Donald Trump utter the N-word on a recording in any context?
I can't guarantee anything, but I can tell you that the president addressed this question directly. I can tell you that I've never heard it.
In Italy, at least 39 people were killed when a bridge collapsed in Genoa on Tuesday, sending dozens of vehicles tumbling 150 feet. The cause of the collapse is not yet known, but many residents are calling on the head of the company that operated the bridge to resign. The Morandi Bridge was the 5th bridge to collapse in Italy in 5 years. In Yemen, the health ministry says U.S.-backed Saudi-led airstrikes in Hodeidah province have killed 13 civilians and injured 24 more. The reported strikes come as outrage continues to grow over the U.S.-backed Saudi-led bombing of a children's school bus in Yemen's northern city of Sada, which killed 51 people, including 40 school children. This is UNICEF's Maritzel Milano.
UNICEF has been responding with medical materials and with support to the injured children. But the important thing is that these attacks don't repeat again. We don't need to come back again and treat the children. The objective is that children are not attacked, they are not killed, they are not injured. This is the most important. We need to put a stop to this war.
In Gaza, health officials say doctors have been forced to halt chemotherapy treatment for cancer patients because of severe medication shortages. The officials say the shortages have been exacerbated by Israel's decision in July to seal a key border crossing, a move Human Rights Watch has denounced as collective punishment. Also in Gaza, Israeli airstrikes destroyed a cultural center in Gaza City last week. A photo in the aftermath of the bombing shows Palestinians holding the cultural center sign surrounded by the building's rubble. And former CNN host Reza Aslan has spoken out about being detained by Israeli authorities while he was crossing into Israel from Jordan 2 weeks ago. Aslan said the Israeli authorities asked him to write down the names of Palestinians and journalists he knew and threatened him, saying, quote, "If you don't cooperate, it will be a long time before you see your kids again." Reza Aslan spoke out after Jewish-American journalist Peter Beinart also went public about his recent detention and questioning by Israeli authorities at Ben Gurion International Airport. In Tunisia, thousands of people rallied in Tunis Monday to demand equal inheritance rights for women. The Tunisian president, Baji Caid Essebsi, has proposed changing the law to allow equal inheritance. Current Tunisian law typically allows men to inherit twice as much as women. And in Nebraska, authorities executed Carrie Dean Moore using a 4-drug cocktail that included fentanyl, which had never been used before in an execution in the United States. It was the first execution in Nebraska in more than 20 years. Journalists who witnessed the execution said Moore's face turned red and then purple, and that the execution took over 20 minutes from the moment the first drug was administered. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman.